So, Smackdown happened, and any semblance of interest that I found over the always opening segment. Like, here's the thing: WWE has this thing that they don't know how to slot their time. They can't transition well, especially over an opening promo segment. And it should be good to do that because I don't want to spend more than 15 minutes with a guy just talking about a certain area of topic. Only one certain area of topics. It will be too long, it's too drowned out. That's why some people will probably lash off in the first hour. So Roman Reigns talking about what's going on during the Elimination Chamber, and he, instead of competing and trying to do a higher risk of losing his title, being involved in it, he wants to issue Elimination Chamber match. He just says with trying to cause a loophole, saying that whoever wins the Chamber match gets a title shot on the spot, giving him more of an advantage. With issuing the disadvantage that Jey Uso will be competing in the Elimination Chamber match with consistent jobber Kevin Owens. And we'll have qualifying matches later in the show. The only problem was Kevin Owens already had five title opportunities against Roman Reigns, so he gets one more opportunity off the bat. And they're trying to take over, like, oh, Kevin Owens, it's always great. They're trying to make the forcible underdog that gets a disadvantage because of the numbers game. And WWE has too much of a habit doing that to begin with. And now we're having over Kevin Owens' big ass, thinking like he deserves it. He always gets a disadvantage shown. God damn, like, I understand the cage match, but last time it was just creativity of Roman Reigns. I don't give a damn that Kevin Owens gets another opportunity. It's a bunch of mid-carders. It's a bunch of mid-carders. And if they somehow pin Roman Reigns over in the Chamber match, nobody's going to take it as realistic. So, that's what it ends over with the segment. Roman Reigns walks off. Then we came over Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville. That is literally above everybody, like literally ahead of everybody creative-wise, making tag matches because we have a week before the next before Elimination Chamber. So she issued tag team matches to make it more easy to get qualifiers for the Elimination Chamber. So that's all you need to know. Oh, by the way, Seth Rollins is back. The Architect, the Messiah. So they technically I'll talk about it later. So we open with King Corbin and Sami Zayn versus Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio in a qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber spot. We had like 3 tag team matches. The match was okay, decent chemistry. They didn't let Dominic talk, thank God, or else I have to hear Mysterio Rey's drastic cigarette voice for 40 years. Dominic, you need to learn how to do another Hurricane Rana. Hurricane Rana, decent spots. Dominic's looking better, but I just feel like he just needs a developmental spot. I don't care if you over push him, but at least make him feel like he improves in the talking. He can't act that specifically well, and he's just doing the same moves as his dad. So there's not much to tell him apart other than, oh my God, is that Dominic? He's super tall. It ends with I think a surprise Helluva Kick after Mysterio literally tried to suicide dive his way, and he tried to toss Corbin off the barricade, but somehow he hit himself. There was a few botches in this match. Wasn't that bad though, but forgettable opening contest. We also had, of course, Big E versus Shinsuke Nakamura, issuing over another stop with this opening contest. BS. Like Cena did it, because at least we know that, okay, anybody that can nearly try to beat John Cena, they'll be the next top guy. I mean, the potential guy. And we had good matches. I don't really care. They did this when Rollins was Intercontinental Champion. They did this with so many dumbass baby faces, all because they win a mid-card belt. Means the only way to give it relevance is not like saying they'll be a dominant champion or I'll keep this title at all costs. No, they'll just be like, oh, I'm gonna be a fighting champion. That's the crappiest business way to make. Okay, so I know that the Intercontinental title's not gonna be important. Apollo came trying to instigate again, trying to earn another title opportunity against Big E, even though he failed for like the 5th time, and issued. I'm exaggerating. I already know that he lost 3 times. And it issued off Nakamura now getting an opportunity after it looked like he was going to get pushed over for a main event spot. So it was now Nakamura and Big E for the Intercontinental Championship with Apollo up in ringside trying to distract Big E. It ends in a DQ after, like literally after we cut off the commercial break, there was a Kinshasa. And I thought, okay, the match was over that quickly? Wow, Big E's a jobber. Other than the gay yellow boots, the match was forgettable. There were some decent power moves, but it just feels like Big E's just there. Apollo's just there. It's just a bunch of no-name mid-carders just pushing over the match, and I don't know what I'm supposed to focus on involving the storyline with Apollo failing to accomplish his goal of winning the title every turn he gets. So I'm not that invested. It ends in a DQ, small brawl, we transition out. Even though we have literally a week before the pay-per-view, Big E or Apollo don't go to Adam Pearce or Sonya Deville trying to issue some type of title match. Thanks, Apollo won't stop until he gets a title shot. But they don't want to emphasize that because they don't know if Apollo's technically heel or technically face, because Apollo has no way of actually making a character for himself. Nakamura was just there. Rollins is back with the awe of most of the SmackDown roster somehow coming down to greet him. Don't know if this was issued by an authority figure or they just thought Rollins was that much of a big deal. After he kept and then as soon as everybody left when he was pursuing that he'll get somebody under his wing and teach him the ropes. Like this wet-haired midget that had been gone from the company since last November. And all they did was return his old theme song. Like he has a character shift. Why didn't they just cut off the burn it down thing if they're not going to transition off that and they're going to still keep him off this Messiah role? And after Cesaro came as the last guy to walk away from him, he attacks him and then targets his knee. At least they focused upon that at the main event when it was Daniel Bryan and Cesaro tagging to get a shot for the Elimination Chamber. And you would think, oh, perfect heel turn for Bryan. Like, he lost to this guy clean and screwing him over. No, we don't do that. So, Rollins just comes out and just ravagely assaulting Cesaro. That was the segment. They do nothing for him later on. I don't know why, if you don't give him the theme song, you turn him face after he comes around talking about his family and all this garbage. I have no focus around Rollins. I don't really care about Rollins. God, they don't do anything to make an interesting character over Rollins because Rollins has no interesting particular skills other than he can wrestle nice. Just a forgettable segment. Nice to see him back and congrats on the kid. That's all the positives I get to say. Next up, we have Liv Morgan against Bayley. Why? Don't know. I don't know. Match was pretty decent. Billie Kay was acting annoying over to Ruby Riott, causing flyers to flop from the floor to the ring, and causing the ref to get distracted trying to toss away all the hazardous papers on the ring, causing a rake of the eyes from Bayley to hit her face driver. It looks so dumb. Like, the face driver that Jeff Jarrett was doing back on TNA looked more realistic. Even though it was like in the midst of the same move, it looked more easier to take down than whatever the hell Bayley was doing. Don't know what character she got after. Literally, now she's irrelevant because Bianca Belair is the Royal Rumble winner. And Bayley's just trying to pick over a win, even though they don't even do more segments with the women. And I don't know why. It's obvious that Billie Kay's being annoying and costing matches, and they don't do segments. God, it just feels like the Riot Squad are just there, and These are two promising women, and you don't give them interesting storylines to interlap anything going around over the card because I'm just gonna see female wrestling. And you can make the matches as good as possible. I'm just not gonna care the next week because I feel like it's just for naught and we're just having matches. Next up, we have, of course, the Street Profits facing off against Alpha Academy. Yeah, that's the tag team name over for the trainer, Chad Gable, putting Otis under his wing. And they were even doing a segment where they were practicing what looked to be a discus clothesline into a German suplex. That's like a transitional move. What part of that is that's like an 70s or 80s move. Looks decent, but like I already saw like 1,700 different indie tag teams do that before. So it doesn't look that enticing to watch. The match was okay. We had a running corner splash, decent hot moves coming over from Gable, trying to struggle to get the tag on Otis. Caterpillar, a bit of surprise roll downs, and yeah, all I can say is Dawkins hit Gable with the spine buster and the frog splash for the win. That was technically it. I don't know why they were wrestling. I guess a future tag team title opportunity. We also had the Dirty Dogs getting a future match, getting a main event after trying to talk about persuading Sonya and Adam to get a shot at the Elimination Chamber match because they want 2 tag team champions to appear in the Rumble. By God, I just feel like we have a bunch of mid-carders. Like, we already lost Lars Sullivan, but at least he looks like something, even though he's a weirdo. And now there's no legitimate enticing threat that I feel like is going to beat Roman Reigns clean, except be the Warriors underdog. Like, all I'm seeing is underdogs in the Elimination Chamber. It's like, I came from watching Kane, Big Show, Kurt Angle, Carlito, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Randy Orton, possibly against John Cena for the world title, to this garbage. Like, I'm not enticed to watch this. There's such a lack of star power. You don't have to do 2 Elimination Chambers. If you want to revolve around the world title and give Kevin Owens another dumbass shot, why wouldn't you just have it on SmackDown and then let Roman Reigns end it? So at the main event, it will be the Dirty Dogs against the tag team of Cesaro and Daniel Bryan, with Cesaro still suffering over a knee injury from after Rollins hit him from the back of the knee after his little speech. So that was a major focus, and I like that. That actual focus into selling for a wrestler, and that will make people actually care about Cesaro overcoming the odds. Like the cool little torture rack. Counters over, a lot of moves outside. Cesaro with uppercuts. He was, I don't like when you go for a momentum, but you're still, using your knees to run around the ring, doing uppercuts. So it's just him doing Superman mode, and doesn't feel like he's doing a comeback. He has to swing on Ziggler, a glorious DDT for a near fall, and it ends after Cesaro won with the sharpshooter. Then Jey Uso came, trying to beat down everybody with Roman Reigns. Then Kevin Owens trying to think his fat ass is Austin, even though it feels like a babyface running for a backyard wrestling fed. Because his pregnant ass coming around looking like a GameStop clerk, just stunning everybody. And oh my God, they're trying to make a rip-off Austin off this garbage. And it doesn't look over that believable. And it doesn't look that fun because there's no crowd over the reaction. Even if it's going to be like garbage. Garbage. And it's like, Kale ran down hitting stunners on everyone like it was 1998 Steve Austin. At the end, Kevin Owens saying that he's coming for Roman Reigns, sitting on a chair, eating a Big Mac. That was technically the show. That was it. There was like more tag team matches over the count with no storylines coming over to play. I don't care about the IC Championship. Oh, there was that segment over with Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair mocking over Carmella. overly pushing her being in the Daytona 500, like we actually care about NASCAR, even though it's been in decline more than the WWE. Like keep forgetting that there's NASCAR even in relevance even without COVID. But it ends in a small little brawl in a crap little like tag team finishing move involving Sasha trying to do a knee strike while in an electric chair. That's all I can say about that segment. Other than that, uh, I just felt like, okay, I'm just seeing fighting mid carders with no semblance over a legitimacy fighting over Roman Reigns, trying to do his best to beat Triple H. Not like I have a problem with that. It just doesn't feel that threatening. Like I'm going to have any believability that Daniel Bryan or Cesaro, Kevin Owens, even if they win, it's just not going to look as interesting. And that's WWE's fault over still contending over this brand split. And they want to pretend that I actually care. You win or lose, they got an on-spot match against Roman Reigns. So they're still gonna do the chamber match, and people be whining about the women's chamber match. Like last time, it was a squash match, literally with Shayna Baszler versus everybody, and nobody cared. She's now like a mid carder with literally Nia Fax coming around having the biggest meme of the month over shouting "my hole." Seriously, everybody be saying that crap on Twitter now. No one cares about a female elimination chamber. I don't mind if you make a new stipulation over for the women's roster to step apart from the men. That's actually going to make more eyes watch women's wrestling. So don't do elimination chambers. Don't do Hell in a Cell unless you have a specific reason to. These are matches supposed to make big deals of the stars, not the other way around. You don't do a gimmick match for the sake of a gimmick match. That's not how you're going to sell over matches. Nobody remembers over the last 5 years most of the Elimination Chamber matches, and that's a freaking fact. Or unless you're some kind of weirdo, just think, all because I remember this means it was actually good. Like whenever somebody brings up, oh, Smackdown from 2016 was great, or Jinder Mahal had a great title reign. You're smoking pot. You are smoking pot, or you're just that bored of what happened that decade that you just had to remember something that people were talking shit about, and I just need to think of something positive. Like whoever in the hell just said that the DQ finish for Hell in a Cell 2019 was a good idea. Like, oh god, I think COVID, it really is giving us like bad mental strain or something. Other than that, that's all I gotta say. If I was able to rate this, it would be like at least a 5 or a 4 out of 10. It wasn't that big over in the episode. Thought it was completely average. I thought we had like barely that much setup over to actually contain decent storylines. I think we have too many mid-carders. And it's just lackluster build, especially for something as cool as the Elimination Chamber. I feel like it should be way bigger than that. But that's just my opinion. If you guys think differently, hopefully we can have a conversation down in the comment section below. Please subscribe. This is DST out.